Hey everyone, today in this video I'm going to show you how you can make this simple pallet wood planter box which you can fill with flowers or other plants. In this case we filled ours with strawberry plants. This would also make a great gift with Mother's Day coming up. This project can be completed with basic hand tools. The first step is you're going to have to find some pallets. Now you can find pallets about any retail store. If you go ask the manager if they have any pallets they can give away. A lot of times they'll have pallets that are junky and they can't use anymore, and you can get those for free. Once you have your pallets, you're going to have to take them apart, and the easiest way I've found is to use a sawzall with a metal cutting blade, and you just go in between the wood and cut the nails off. If you don't have a sawzall, you can use a hammer and a flat bar, and that works easily too, but Sawzall is much faster, and I think it turns out a little bit cleaner, and you don't have the possibility of splitting your wood. Now, depending on how narrow the wood slats are, you can either go 3 high or 2 high, depending how high you want the planter box to be. In my case, the slats on the pallet were pretty thin, so I decided to go 3 high. When you're choosing which boards to use for the sides of your planter box, make sure to sight down the edge of them and pick the straightest boards you have. That way there won't be some big gaps on the side of your planter box. And I cut those slats at 2 foot, so my box is going to be 2 foot long. Once I cut the side pieces at 2 feet, I cut 2 bottom pieces also at the same length of 2 feet. So I ended up with 8 boards that were 2 feet long. Then I used the support boards of the pallet for the end pieces of the box. Now they're not wide enough to use 1 board, so I'm going to have to use 2 and glue those together. I wanted the ends of my planter box to be slightly higher than the sides of the planter box, and this just gave it a little more design to it than just a regular box. And also it gave me a place to put the handles later on. So I stacked the side pieces on the ground to give me an idea of how high the side was going to be, and then I put my end piece right next to it. Then I marked 2 inches higher than what the side boards were. Once I had that measurement, I cut 4 boards out of the support piece of the pallet, and then since the sides are rough and they can't be glued together, I just put them on the table saw and just took a very small amount off the side. That way when you joined them together, there'd be no gap and you could easily glue it from there. Once the sides were flush and they fit together well, I glued the 2 boards up, and those ended up being my end boards for the planter box. Make sure to use exterior rated wood glue for this project. Once the glue was dry, I dry fit the pieces together to make sure it was going to look how I wanted it to. Once it looked okay, I put a little bit of glue where the side boards were going to attach to the end boards, and then I pin nailed the side boards onto the end boards on one side. Once that side was done, I flipped it over and did the same on the other. And once you had your 2 sides on, you were ready to put the bottom boards on. And when you put the bottom boards on, you want to make sure there's at least a 1/2 inch gap on the bottom. That way if you get too much water in your planter box, then the water has a way to get out, and you won't drown the plants that you have planted. Once you place your boards and they look okay, you can put a small amount of glue on either side, and then you can pin nail those onto the planter box. If you don't have a pin nailer, you can just use a regular hammer with finish nails, and it works just as well. Once you have the bottom on, then you will basically be done with the box. You're going to want to line the inside of the box with something that the water and the dirt won't be right up next to the wood, which would cause the wood to rot. It can touch it a little bit, but if you have the whole thing touching moist soil, the wood will rot pretty quick. So what I use is just a regular bag, just like a bag you get from Walmart or the grocery store, and I cut the top off, and then I cut one side off so that would lay flat, as you can see here. And you can take just a regular paper stapler, open it up, and if you push hard enough, you can actually drive the staples into the softer wood, And I took a second bag, did the same thing, and just put it on the opposite side of the box. It doesn't have to be super strong, it just has to hold the bag up as you fill it up with soil. Once you have both bags in and it's covering the majority of the wood, you're ready to start filling it in with dirt. And what I had to do with our plants is the pots that came in were shorter than the depth of the planter box, so I had to fill in the bottom with about 2 to 3 inches of soil. Then I put the plants in, and you can put the soil in around the plants and pat that down a little bit. For the handles, I used exterior screen door handles that you can get from basically any hardware store. That way you'd have a nice way to carry the box, and it gives it a little bit of a finishing touch as well. And now you have a completed planter box that you made with little to no money. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you like the project, subscribe and push the notification icon. That way you'll be notified when I come out with new videos just like this one.